You did everything right. You stopped eating late. You bought the healthier groceries. You even started sleeping a little earlier. But every morning, you still wake up tired. Your mind feels foggy. Your energy disappears before lunch. And somewhere in the back of your mind, a question keeps getting louder. If I'm doing everything right, why do I still feel like I'm aging faster? Most people blame stress. Some blame hormones. Others blame getting older. But what if the real problem begins every single evening, while you're doing something that feels completely harmless? Because there's a tiny structure inside almost every cell of your body. You can't see it. You can't feel it. Yet it decides how much energy you have tomorrow, how quickly your brain ages, even how long your cells survive. And every night, millions of people unknowingly interrupt the one repair process those tiny structures desperately need. Here's the part nobody talks about. It doesn't happen because your body is weak. It happens because your body is obeying instructions. The wrong ones. Stay with me, because once you see this invisible mistake, you'll never look at your evenings the same way again. I know how frustrating this feels. You've probably heard that better health is all about eating cleaner, exercising harder, or taking another supplement. Every year there's a new miracle solution. Yet somehow, people keep feeling exhausted. Not because they lack discipline. Because they are fighting biology without realizing it. Your body isn't lazy. It isn't broken. It's trying to protect you. The problem is that protection comes with a price. Imagine your body as a massive city. Every house has electricity. Every hospital needs power. Every traffic light depends on it. Now imagine thousands of tiny power stations scattered throughout that city. They work day and night, generating energy for everything that keeps life moving. Those power stations are your mitochondria. Most people hear that word and think, the powerhouse of the cell. That's true. But it's only half the story. Because power stations don't just produce energy. They also produce waste. Just like a factory creates smoke while making products, your mitochondria create tiny reactive molecules every time they generate energy. Normally, that's perfectly fine. Your body has an overnight cleaning crew. Damaged parts get removed. Fresh parts get built. Everything is restored before morning. Clean first. Rebuild second. Repeat. Simple. Unless something interrupts the night shift. Here's what most people completely miss. Your mitochondria don't repair themselves while you're busy living your day. The deepest repair happens when your internal clock believes it's nighttime. Not when your watch says it's nighttime. Those are two very different things. Researchers at institutions like Harvard and the Salk Institute have spent years studying circadian biology, the invisible timing system controlling nearly every cell in your body. It turns out your cells don't just care what you eat. They care when they receive information. Food is information. Light is information. Movement is information. Even the time you answer one last email becomes information. Your mitochondria are constantly asking one question. Is it safe to repair? If the answer is yes, remarkable things begin happening. Damaged proteins disappear. Cellular waste is recycled. Fresh components replace worn-out machinery. Energy production becomes cleaner. More efficient. Almost like replacing old spark plugs inside an engine before they fail. But if your body receives the wrong signals, everything gets delayed. Not forever. Just enough that tiny damage starts accumulating. Night after night. Week after week. Year after year. Here's where it gets counterintuitive. You don't notice this damage immediately. That's what makes it dangerous. You simply wake up feeling a little less refreshed. A little less focused. A little more dependent on another cup of coffee. You blame work. You blame age. You blame yourself. Meanwhile, the repair crew quietly clocks out before finishing the job. And here's the thing nobody tells you. Your body actually expects this repair window every single night. It has evolved around it. For thousands of years, darkness meant something very specific. Work is over. Eating is over. Danger is lower. Repair can begin. Your biology still believes that story. Modern life doesn't. That's where the conflict begins. Here's what changes everything. Back in 2016, Nobel Prize-winning scientist Yoshinori Ohsumi transformed our understanding of one of the cell's most important repair systems, autophagy. Think of autophagy as the sanitation department inside that city. Broken equipment gets collected. Damaged machinery is dismantled. Useful materials are recycled. Without that cleanup, healthy rebuilding cannot happen. Most people assume autophagy only matters during long fasts. That's only part of the picture. Because another repair process is happening alongside it. Inside your mitochondria themselves. Scientists call it mitochondrial quality control. Imagine mechanics inspecting every power station overnight. Replacing damaged wires. Removing failing generators. Keeping the lights on before disaster strikes. But here's the surprising part. This maintenance crew doesn't simply respond to food. It responds to timing. Timing tells your cells whether to repair or stay alert. And one common evening habit completely confuses that message. Not because it's toxic. Not because it's rare. Because your brain interprets it as daylight. Once that happens, an extraordinary molecule begins to disappear. Most people have heard its name. Almost nobody understands what it actually does inside a mitochondrion. And once that molecule falls, the entire night shift starts unraveling in ways researchers never expected. What happened next surprised scientists even more. Because the damage wasn't happening where anyone was looking. It was happening deep inside the very engines keeping every cell alive. And that's exactly where our story takes an unexpected turn. That extraordinary molecule is melatonin. I know. That sounds strange. Most people hear melatonin and think of sleep gummies sitting on a pharmacy shelf. Your cells think of something completely different. They think of protection. Here's the part nobody talks about. Melatonin is one of your mitochondria's most trusted night shift workers. Long before it helps you fall asleep, it sleeps inside those tiny power stations and helps neutralize the reactive molecules created during energy production. It protects delicate mitochondrial DNA, supports cleaner energy generation, and helps signal that it's finally safe to begin repairs. But here's what they didn't expect. Your brain doesn't produce melatonin just because the clock says 10 p.m. It produces it because your eyes report darkness. That's the hidden switch. When bright LED lights, televisions, tablets, or phones flood your eyes late in the evening, specialized cells in your retina send a completely different message. Don't start repairs. To your brain, it still feels like afternoon. Melatonin production slows. The repair crew waits. Your mitochondria keep working, but maintenance gets postponed. One night isn't the problem. Your body is remarkably resilient. It's the repetition that changes everything. Night after night, tiny pieces of damage remain. Another night, a little more. Another week, another delay. Eventually your cells spend more time managing damage than preventing it. That's when the symptoms begin showing up in everyday life. You lose your mental sharpness. Afternoon fatigue arrives earlier. Recovery takes longer. Even small stresses feel bigger. Not because your body failed. Because your repair schedule did. And here's the relief you've probably needed to hear. It wasn't a lack of discipline. Your body was responding exactly as it was designed to. It simply received the wrong environmental signals. The good news. Signals can be changed. Stay with me, this is the part that matters. Tomorrow morning doesn't begin when you wake up. It actually begins tonight. Start with your evening meal. Aim to finish dinner about 3 hours before bed. Why? Because digestion demands energy. When your stomach is still working overtime, your body delays some of the overnight maintenance your mitochondria depend on. Keep that dinner simple. A serving of salmon, lentils, or eggs for balanced protein. Colorful vegetables like broccoli, spinach, or peppers for natural polyphenol. Healthy fats from olive oil or walnuts. These foods provide nutrients without constantly signaling your cells to stay in growth mode late into the evening. Here's where it gets counterintuitive. This isn't about eating less. It's about giving your biology enough quiet time before sleep. Next comes light. About 90 minutes before bed, dim your home. Use warm lamps instead of bright overhead LEDs. Reduce television brightness. If you need your phone, lower the screen intensity and keep it brief. Why? Because every minute of darkness tells your brain the repair window is approaching. Your melatonin system begins waking up precisely because the lights are fading. Then comes something almost nobody thinks about. Temperature. A slightly cooler bedroom helps your body lower its core temperature, another natural signal that nighttime repair has arrived. Again, your biology isn't reading your clock. It's reading your environment. Finally, protect the first hour after waking. Open your curtains. Step outside if possible. Even 10 minutes of natural morning sunlight helps anchor your circadian rhythm, making melatonin production stronger the following night. Morning light creates better nights. Better nights create healthier mitochondria. Healthier mitochondria create better mornings. It's a cycle, not an isolated habit. Here's what most people completely miss. None of these steps works because it's a magic trick. They work because every signal agrees with every other signal. Dark evenings. Consistent meal timing. Morning sunlight. Regular sleep. Together they tell your cells one simple story. The danger has passed. You can repair now. That's when biology begins working with you instead of against you. And that's how change quietly compounds. One better night won't transform your life. 30 better nights begin changing your energy. 90 better nights start changing how your cells function. A year of protecting your mitochondrial repair window can leave you feeling like you're borrowing energy from a younger version of yourself. Not because you found a miracle. Because you finally stopped interrupting the miracle your body already knew how to perform. Most people spend years searching for another supplement. Another diet. Another shortcut. Sometimes the most powerful intervention isn't adding something new. It's removing the signal that's been confusing your cells every single evening. And once you understand that, you begin seeing health differently. Not as a battle of willpower, but as a conversation with your biology. In the next episode, we're going to uncover why one healthy morning habit may be shutting down your cellular repair before breakfast is even over. The science behind that discovery surprised even longevity researchers, and once you see it, you'll never look at your morning routine the same way again.